As Derek McWhorter's semi-puller nears completion, Tom McConnell pounds the pavement to find a sponsor. And where else but in Kentucky would you look to spirits for sponsorship? What could possibly go wrong?
Can't run a pulling truck on whiskey.
You worked all week, now it's time to go. So you truck it on down the road. You've got lots of thinking to do, so you drive in kinda slow. Will that new turbo work? Will win the big check tonight? Now they're flagging you in, dropping the hook. Are you ready to go? Everybody's got something that makes life seem worthwhile. You've got yourself a problem, it's your pulling desire. You're hooked on dirt, be hooked on dirt, baby, hooked on dirt.
After much deliberation, Derek McWhorter finally got his cherished Peterbilt over to Cobbled Up Services to get it overhauled for competition pulling duty.
So we're going to have to readjust that on the power steering pump.
Yeah, it's supposed to be getting another one. What I gotta do, get this here, move over this way, and the hoses here gotta come over on the side here.
Okay.
What's going on, man?
Well, it's about time you showed up.
You know we got a pull tomorrow.
We're trying to get there.
Do your job. We got a pull tomorrow.
I am,
I'm going to be
right
short.
now.
Go back to work, man. We're going to be short on semis. I thought you had this thing done.
I was surprised at how much work it needed to get it ready. Would have been best if we started 6 to 8 months before we actually started. But hey, this is the first pull-in or anything we've ever done building a truck. So I originally took it over there just to kind of get a refresh, and they ended up turning it into a full remanufacture almost.
Man, well, you got a lot of work to do if you think you're going to get this on the track tomorrow, man.
Well, hey, I told you I was building a pulling truck. We went from the Cummins, so we got a yellow cat in there now.
I see that. I see that. You have taken this thing a long way, man. You got a hitch built for it yet?
I had to borrow one from one of your fellow pullers.
Oh, man, they're nice people, but you start beating them, they ain't going to let you borrow your hitch very often, man.
Yeah.
Well, man, I thought you had good news. You were going to show me the brand new truck. It's ready to go, how great the people at Cobbled Up are, and Derek, we got a
I was bringing you down here to find out. I was showing you the truck. Now you got to show me the money. You told me I'd have sponsors falling out of the sky.
high performance companies are going to flock to you, flock to you, flock to you.
Yeah. I haven't seen the first one fall on me yet.
Well, Derek, you know, the day is still young. And I think the chances of them falling out of the sky can be anytime, anywhere. That's the thing about sponsors. You know, I had a guy told me this years ago, Roger Bear, worked with a lot of big NASCAR teams. He said sponsors are your friends and neighbors. Become friends with them. And Derek, we're friends. And, I think there's other friends that would love to have you sponsor. And, you know, it'll happen, Derek. I mean, don't worry about the sponsorships. It'll happen.
Yeah.
You get it on TV, get some exposure. Honestly, Derek, when people see truly the fact that there's so many fans that come to our events that relate to this, they see the semis on the highway passing them, or they're in the trucking industry, they relate to the semi class. Sponsors will come into it. It's happened for years. I've been doing this 25 years. You know, people don't hang out with me because they like me, Derek.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn that. How many trucks are you expecting this year
Well,
that are pulling for points? Do you know yet?
you never know till the first couple pulls, and it looks like we might lose one if you're not ready, but I'm hoping 6 to 10 will be in there, but you never know. Not everybody's ready, and with you not being ready, in order to gain a points championship, you're going to have to help somebody breaks, and you know, you can catch them, I guess. You got to get it out there on the track.
We're within days of getting this thing ready to go. So.
Well, you know, it's hard for me to get a sponsor till you're out on the track, Derek. So get this out on the track.
We're almost there.
All right, I tell you what. I do know a guy in Crestwood. You ain't opposed to a whiskey sponsor, are you?
If the money's right,
I like the
I
way
can put any kind of sticker on there we need.
There might be more than stickers. I got a guy, might make you a lot of money, and it'll probably make me just a little bit, because I usually don't make much. I do a lot of this.
I've heard
charity
making
work.
a lot of money out of your mouth a lot of times.
I know.
Show me the money.
I'm going to show you the money. Maybe some product, but let me show you the money. I'll show you the money. I got you, Derek.
All right. Terry, I'm gonna go over and check on this motor we delivered.
As usual, we'll get her done, don't worry.
Well, here's your other parts for your job here, Chuck.
Thank you. Thanks for running that over here. Gonna try and get that done today, or at least set in there today anyway.
I'm glad they showed up. That way we can get your guy back on the road.
Yeah. Customers wanting it. That new bridge project and everything, dump truck business is booming. So we'll try and get that core back over to you probably tomorrow or next day. Yep.
John Smith's on the phone for you.
Okay. Just take his number and tell him I'll come back in there and call him in just a minute.
You got regular customers that have y'all do engine swaps and stuff like that.
Bischoff Brothers is one of our bigger customers. We do all their engine work and a lot of the transmission work and stuff too. We got several other fleets that we do all their engine work and major work, diagnostic stuff. Anything they can't do in-house other than wheel seals and stuff like that, they do a lot of that, but any of the major things.
I'm gonna head out. We'll be back tonight.
Okay.
And hopefully finish on this pulling truck. We're gonna have to pick up the pace on this truck and get this thing going. So.
No doubt, we'll have to get her going.
Yep.
Appreciate you, bud.
Yep, thank you.
See you, Sugar Britches.
See you, Chuckles.
Hooked on Dirt is being brought to you by River City Truck Parts, the heavy-duty parts you need when you need them. And by Oldham County Tourism, 3 bourbon brands, horse farms, and 30 trains a day. And by Switzerland County Tourism, we live it, you'll love it, visit SwitzCountyTourism.com. And by Bubba Burger, you'll never bite a burger better than a Bubba.
As Tom McConnell hits Kentucky's fabled bourbon trail, one potential sponsor is Kentucky Artisan Distillery, a craft distillery known for Jefferson's bourbon, among other labels.
Howdy. Got a meeting with Steve Thompson.
All right, let me go get him for you.
All right.
Steve, somebody's here to see you.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Yes?
Steve. Tom McConnell.
Tom.
Battle of the Bluegrass, truck and tractor pulls. The guy that called you and said, you need to be in truck and tractor pulling, and you were like, you met with me anyway, so far so good.
Okay. Yeah, nice to see you again.
Same here, man.
I think I feel it coming. He's going to hit me for money like most everybody else that walks through the door here.
You've been doing this for a long time, as I understand, you personally.
Personally, yes, a long time.
Because we're with the Brown Foreman?
Well, with Brown Foreman and Diageo and a few other makers of fine spirits.
So you know the industry well, and you know the good old boys and girls that live in the rural communities. They drink bourbon, they drink whiskey. And I got over 300,000 of them coming to my shows, and we're looking for an official brand, and we can put it on a semi-truck that's going to be pulling with us all year long. So there's a lot of branding we can do, and I just wanted to discuss with you maybe which brand would fit best and where we could go from here, man.
Tom, we have various products we make here. All of them are super products, and all of them are a little bit different. They're primarily all whiskeys, and whiskeys are primarily grain products that are distilled and aged. And we have from left to right the products we make. We make the Jefferson Reserve, and we also make the Jefferson Manhattan, which is a great cocktail type of drink.
Wow.
And we also make the Jefferson's Oceans and a couple other selections of Jeffersons. And then last on here, we make a whiskey, and this whiskey is made 100% from rye. All of them are sold at the finer restaurants in town and abroad, as well as throughout the United States.
This Jefferson Reserves, that's the one they put on the ship?
No, there's a Jefferson Ocean, a Jefferson Voyage.
Okay, okay.
The Jefferson Voyage is basically put on a ship or some kind of boat, and it spends some time at sea. The most current voyage is where we put 2 barrels on a boat that left last week to sail down the Ohio River into the Mississippi and all the way down to Louisiana. Then it's being transferred onto a barge that'll take it all the way around Key West, Florida, up to New Jersey, and spend some time there, and then come all the way back up here. And that's the ocean and the river finish, and that'll have a completely different flavor profile that we never experienced before. That's brand new. But what you have right here is a cask finish, and basically what that is they take their high-end Jefferson product after it's been aged, and we bring it in here, and then we take a wine barrel that they've supplied from us that has had, in this particular case, Groth wine from California, and the casks are French oak casks they brought in here, and we take and we put that bourbon in and we age it for another 6 or 9 months longer, and it's called finishing, and it's quite popular in the bourbon business right now to go ahead and make a bourbon and then finish it in either a port cask or a wine cask or something different to give it a little bit extra. Jefferson Reserve here is just the same product, but it hasn't been finished in a wine cask of any kind. You'll see in back of us we have the Jefferson Experimental Whiskeys, and basically those are 100-barrel lots of different products that we make here, different formulas that are all unique and different. None of those are on the market yet.
So you're expanding your product line all the time then?
Exactly. And then Whiskey Row, it's a really high-end whiskey, and we'll have another Whiskey Row Green Label come out here in midsummer, and that's going to be a 9-year-old aged product.
Wow.
That is extremely good, that we've done some neat things with, and that'll be hopefully available for Christmas time.
But of your brands, which one do you think fits our demographic the best?
Every product has a personality, and as the brand owner's job is basically to take that personality and match it up with a certain demographic. For the tractor pull, which I enjoy myself, of course, I would recommend the Whiskey Row. In the early 1800s, the casks came down the Ohio River from Virginia, Maryland, and so on, and they were aged down here on Whiskey Row and bottled and sent out to the West Coast.
Wow.
But that has a Western Kentucky central influence. The Jefferson has more of an Eastern personality in terms of Jefferson himself. Highspire definitely has a Pennsylvania kind of personality to it. It's a rye. Ryes were basically born in Pennsylvania. It's for the wine drinkers, we call it, those people who like a lighter flavor than a bourbon. But I would say is that the Whiskey Row most fits the tractor pull personality, if you will.
Well, it's got a similar heritage to it, and especially how it was transported and how it came about. And there's a lot we can do for you, Steve.
Tractor pulls are up and coming, and I enjoy watching them, and my grandchildren certainly brought me into the sport. And I would like to do something with you, and I think what we ought to do is maybe take a tour through the plant, if you would, and I can show you exactly what we do and how it's made. You'll get a little bit better feeling for the personalities of each one of these particular brands.
No rest for the wicked as Tom McConnell begins his personal tour of the distillery.
It all starts here, Tom. If you look out beyond this over here, we bring in all of our grains from right back of us on a 1,400-acre farm. We bring our corn in, we bring our rye, we bring our barley in. For instance, we're running the rye right now, and that's our rye from right next door. We bring all this in, we weigh it, we mill it, and we make a powder out of it, just like you would baking powder. It's that fine and that ground. And then what we do is after we mill it and grind it and we pump it inside here, we start to cook it. So follow me in here and I'll show you where it goes. Over here you got the cookers, and we cook that grain for 2 or 3 hours after we milled it outside. We bring it in here, we added water and cook it. We made it into what we call a mash. Once that's cooked, we cool it down and we bring it back over here. We put it in one of these fermenters right here, and we add yeast to it. Now we bring the temperature down to about 70 degrees, and within 2 or 3 hours we have what you call an active fermentation. And this is producing CO2 gas, it's producing alcohol and water, and that's what you're getting here. And that rolling bubbling will continue for 2 or 3 days. And those are the yeast acting and creating that gas, carbon dioxide. And what you end up with after 3 days is a big mash tank like this full of 10% alcohol. And then once we get that alcohol out, we just distill it, we remove the water, and we put it in a barrel. I can't tell whether he's really impressed with our tour or what we're doing here or not.
Hey, Steve, what is that?
That is a still.
That's a still?
That's where we make the finished product. We take it from the beer stage to the high proof stage in the still, And what that does is it boils off the alcohol and leaves the water behind. And that's how you make high-proof, good-looking spirits.
You know, the stills I've seen are a whole lot smaller in the hills of Kentucky.
That's a big fella right there.
What we got over here?
After we make the product and after it comes off the still, we got 3 tanks over here, big ones and 3 little ones. And we take each one of those tanks. One of those is for High Spire, another tank is for Whiskey Row, and another tank is for the Jefferson products.
Okay.
And we hold those in there until we're ready to barrel those. And then we bring the barrels in, fill the product right here, and we knock the hell out of them with a bung. And then that's sealed, and that's done. And they go to the warehouse and they sit there and age for 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Well, speaking of sealing it, we need to seal the deal here, man. We need to get you involved in this battle of the bluegrass and get you on Derek's truck, man.
Well, Tom, it's like everything else. What's the cost to do that?
Do you want the price or the deal?
I want both.
Well, if you want the deal, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of price and a little bit of deal.
You know, regularly would be a whole lot higher, but I think I could probably bring something in around $45,000 for you.
Well, let's go talk.
Let's do it.
This guy doesn't have me fooled for a minute. I know he's a fast-talking salesman, but I think I'm even faster. Now, normally we take that product that I showed you in that tank, we pump it over here, and we put it in a bottle. But since you came so late and kept me late and after hours, this is past my cocktail time. But at any rate, regardless of that, I thought I'd just show you what we end up with. And I got a little gift for you here because I want to...
You got the check for the sponsorship?
Well, no, I got this instead.
Oh, you got?
Each one of these bottles here is worth about $20,000. And I thought that this was appropriate. I might consider sponsoring that truck, but I got to see it first, and I got to make sure whatever I sponsor is #1 and it wins, because I'm not into sponsoring losers. And I want you to let him taste this product, and he'll see how great this is, and he'll know that this is the product he needs to sponsor his tractor pull. So this is for you.
What about the cash, Steve?
Well, we'll talk about the cash later.
You know what?
We still got to talk about the deal.
Need to talk about the price.
Remember, I like the deal and the cash.
I like the cash.
I like cash. I like everything. A deal, cash, and the deal, and the money, and all that stuff.
Let me tell you, after we get you on that truck,
right,
the sales explosion you're going to have for the branding, Steve, I might even just settle on a percentage, but you know what? To do you a favor, I won't take a percentage of sales.
I'll tell you what.
I'll just take a check.
Usually I charge people a large consulting fee for me coming in and talking to me and share them with my background, but I'm going to cut that expense and sort of credit that to what I might have to pay.
I'm going to sample this tonight.
Okay,
I'll be back to Crestwood again, I promise you.
That sounds good.
Thank you, man.
We'll talk to you soon, Tom.
We'll
Thanks for stopping in.
Think cash.
Okay, think deal.
Hooked on Dirt is being brought to you by River City Truck Parts, the heavy-duty parts you need when you need them. And by Oldham County Tourism, 3 bourbon brands, horse farms, and 30 trains a day. And by Switzerland County Tourism, we live it, you'll love it, visit SwitzCountyTourism.com. And by Bubba Burger, you'll never bite a burger better than a Bubba.
As the Battle of the Bluegrass Pulling Series gets going, one of the earliest events of the season is held at the Madison County Fairgrounds near Richmond, Kentucky. As the track is prepped and the competitors unload, Tom McConnell searches out Derek McWhorter.
Told you I was going to bring that old motor out of that pulling truck.
Yeah, but where's the pulling truck?
Well, this used to be it.
That's the motor of the old Peterbilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the Cat has maybe a little more power, a little more work to it, but man, that's a good piece for somebody, you know it?
Yeah.
Especially going to run over the road.
I'd like to have it here tonight, but...
Yeah, that's truck pulling, man. It's all coddled up right now, ain't it?
It is.
Well, Ashley's here, so...
yeah, I've seen his trucks before.
Yeah, I told him you're coming after him hard, but he's like, well, his truck ain't here. It ain't that hard, you know?
Yeah.
Derek's got to get that truck on the track. Tim Ashley's running a lot of trucks off. People are mad. They don't know if he's legal or not. Derek's got to get that truck on the track and hope I can get him a sponsor to help pay for it. We got to get some competition.
Well, I know, and I've been giving him a hard time ever since you talked me into this deal.
Well, speaking of talking into this deal, Derek, I got some good news. Sponsorship, buddy. Your truck ain't even hit the track, and I got your first sponsor. Just take a little look in here, Derek.
What do you got there, Tom?
Whiskey
You can't
Road.
you can't run a pulling truck on whiskey.
Well, here's what the deal is. I went and met with these guys in Crestwood. They're definitely interested because they know people that come to truck pull drink bourbon, but you know, I got to thinking about something. As I was talking to him, he wasn't quite ready to write a check, but he said he would trade in product. But as we were leaving, he informed me of something, Derek. This very bottle is worth $25,000.
Each one of these bottles here is worth about $20,000.
So
Well, I'll hang on to it for you.
it's yours,
I don't know
Derek.
if I'm gonna pour it in the tank of the truck or not, but
I wouldn't pour it in the truck, Derek, but it's worth at least $25,000, so that ought to get you down the road. So again, I've done my job on sponsorship.
All right.
I gotta go, Derek. I will talk to you later, my friend.
McConnell still hadn't brought me any money. He's been promising and promising, and just every time he's coming, I think he's got something going, but he walks away with a bottle of whiskey.
Look, I was told it was worth $25,000 from the distillery. They wouldn't lie to me.
With the Battle of the Bluegrass season heating up, so do more rivalries and controversies. On the next episode of Hooked on Dirt, Kenny Powell gets the custom paint job he always wanted and starts angling for some sponsors of his own.
Before we go in there, we need to talk to these guys about some of these new side-by-sides, see if we can't get them to sponsor something to help us out here.